Hello and good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. President Biden will deliver his third State of the Union address tonight, and you can watch it live on Hawaii News Now on air and online, and that starts at 4 o'clock.
The president will speak directly to lawmakers and the American people about where the country stands and what he hopes to still accomplish in office. Natalie Brand has more from Capitol Hill.
The President of the United States.
As President Biden steps before Congress and the American public tonight, the stakes are higher as he sells his vision for another 4 years. In a new CBS News poll, most Americans describe the country as divided.
State of the Union is a catastrophe.
Chaotic, disorganized.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
Facing low approval ratings, the president is expected to make the case the economy is improving. Tonight, he'll call on Congress to increase Medicare's ability to negotiate prescription drug prices and expand caps on prescription drugs. He'll also pitch raising the corporate minimum tax rate to 21%. And he'll highlight legislative accomplishments like the bipartisan infrastructure bill.
These things don't sell themselves. That's part of why tonight is so important. This is a chance for the president to talk about the strides that our economy has made under his leadership, adding more jobs than any president ever.
Even though this is an official speech, the president will focus on key issues already weighing heavily on the 2024 election.
He's going to try to take this immigration issue and turn it against the Republicans.
The president has urged Congress to take up the bipartisan border security deal that fell apart last month. House Speaker Mike Johnson says the Biden administration let the problem get out of control.
The white ribbons, what we're wearing today, is in honor of the Angel families. They're American citizens, American families. We're losing family members to brutal murders and violence because illegal aliens are being allowed out into the streets.
Another source of division, the fall of Roe versus Wade. Among the First Lady's guests tonight will be a Texas mother denied an abortion to end a high-risk pregnancy. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
There will be at least 3 special guests from Hawaii at tonight's State of the Union address. The First Lady is bringing in Maui police officer Cameron Pupunu. He saved more than a dozen people who were sheltering inside a coffee shop during the Lahaina wildfire disaster. Senators Brian Schatz and Mazie Hirono will be bringing guests of their own. One is an OBGYN physician and chief resident at the UH John A. Burns School of Medicine. The other is the CEO of the Boys and Girls Club of Maui. We spoke with both earlier this morning on Sunrise. You can watch those interviews right now online at hawaiinewsnow.com.
Back here in the islands, President Joe Biden won last night's Hawaii Democratic caucuses, but it wasn't all good news for the incumbent. Breaking down the numbers today, he came away with 2/3 of the votes cast against 4 other lesser-known candidates. But perhaps concerning for the Biden campaign, more than 29% voted uncommitted. In primaries nationwide, some Democrats have opted to vote this way in response to the White House's handling of the Israel-Hamas war.
You see a lot of young people here tonight, which is great, and I think they want to make their voices heard, not just for the presidential election, but all the elections on down.
I think it's important that Democrats are active in a procedure like this so that we know that there's more of a choice than just our current president, Joe Biden. I mean, I think that despite him being an incumbent, it's healthy for a democracy to consider different possible candidates.
Biden needs 1,968 delegates to seal the Democratic nomination. As more states hold caucuses that could happen within 2 weeks, former President Trump could seal the GOP nomination by next week. And speaking of the GOP, the Hawaii GOP party will hold their caucus on March 12th. This year's primary election is set for August 10th, and the general election will happen on November 5th.
The trial of a Michigan man whose son committed a deadly mass shooting back in 2021 got underway today. James Crumbley faces 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Last month, a jury convicted the shooter's mother on the same charges. Andres Gutierrez reports from the Michigan courthouse.
James Crumbley sat quietly as prosecutors in Michigan argued why he should be held criminally responsible for his son's deadly shooting rampage at Oxford High School in 2021.
James Crumbley bought that gun that his son used to kill as a gift for his son 4 days before the attack.
4 students were killed in the shooting. Prosecutors accused James Crumbley of gross negligence for not securing the gun his son Ethan used in the shooting and for not speaking up about the firearm or take him home when school staff discovered a disturbing drawing of a similar gun on the teenager's math assignment on the day of the shooting.
Him sitting in that counselor's office, looking at this drawing, and then not only staying silent, but then his failure to act, right there, is his willful disregard of danger.
Crumbley's defense attorney claimed her client did not suspect his son was a danger.
James Crumbley did not know what his son was going to do. He did not know that his son could potentially harm other people.
We find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
Last month, a jury found Ethan's mother, Jennifer Crumbley, guilty on the same counts. It was the first time in U.S. history that a parent has been criminally responsible for a mass shooting committed by their child. Andres Gutierrez, CBS News, Pontiac, Michigan.
On Oahu's North Shore, a rancher is targeted in a disheartening crime. Thieves got away with a crucial piece of equipment that his cattle rely on. Our Ben Gutierrez reports on the latest ag land theft.
The rancher's son says it is the 7th time it's been hit by burglars in the past few years. He fears this one may be hard to recover from in this latest theft.
Honestly, my reaction was, it was kind of like, oh my gosh, again?
Preston Lee says thieves took this water tanker from his dad's ranch on Oahu's North Shore on Saturday. He says the ranch has had it for 10 years and is vital in hauling water for the cattle.
It's really devastating because you think about the truck. It's an old military truck. It's probably not worth very much, but to my dad, it really is worth everything because he can't operate his job without it.
Lee's dad fears retaliation and asked that we not disclose the ranch's exact location. But the theft of the truck happened the same day that Clark Little's Plumeria farm was also hit by thieves that took $200,000 worth of equipment using one of the farm's own trailers. HPD hasn't made any arrests, released any suspect descriptions, or recovered the stolen property.
As a rancher, what I feel is anger, and I feel that we really got to step forward.
The Hawaii Farm Bureau says in 2019 there were more than 14,000 trespassers and more than 1,100 vandalism reports. Lawmakers say it doesn't seem to be getting better.
There's been a disregard for that, as many of the ranchers and farmers have said. People are just walking onto properties.
For too long, agricultural crimes have been sort of relegated to the back. It's, not that much of a loss, whatever the case may be, but this highlights how serious this is, and we just got to get this.
Lee says the ranch is now paying someone to haul water for the cattle, and even a used water truck will cost tens of thousands of dollars.
When something like this happens to a small business, a lot of times the small businesses are forced to sell, and the worst part is it's our local people doing it to us, It's hard, man. It's hard.
Lee tells us his father is spending $1,000 every few days to pay for water hauling until the truck is found or can be replaced.
The full Senate has passed a bill to decriminalize jaywalking. SB 2630 allows pedestrians to cross streets if there's no immediate danger of causing a crash. The Hawaii Appleseed Center for Law and Economic Justice released a report saying in the last 5 years, police issued nearly $4 million in jaywalking fines, but only 1/4 of the tickets were paid. The bill also mandates fines of at least $100 for any driver caught speeding. The measure now goes to the House.
No jail time for a former public safety official who faked her credentials. Marty Martinez, who was in charge of training law enforcement officers, admitted she made up parts of her resume to get the job. Lynn Kawano has the story.
The former head of training for the Department of Public Safety was sentenced to 1 year probation for lying about her credentials. The state attorney general's office was asking for the max, 4 months in jail for Marty Martinez, who pleaded guilty to 4 misdemeanor counts related to her lying about her education and resume, lies that helped elevate her to the top administrative position in the training unit.
In her capacity as a high-ranking public official, with that much quote-unquote law enforcement experience, she deserves to go to jail just on the underlying offenses alone.
Despite these lies of the transcripts, her job performance was excellent.
Martinez's attorney told the court she is the sole caregiver for her disabled husband. She also dealt with major health issues of her own.
Under a lot of stress, I just got stupid. I was really stupid, and I sacrificed everything just for expediency, just to get out from under it. But it was my fault. I accept responsibility for it.
Martinez made up key elements of her college credentials and admitted to falsifying transcripts, something H&N Investigates exposed in 2019. The promotions put her in charge of the training for nearly 1,000 deputy sheriffs and corrections officers statewide. Under Martinez's training leadership, multiple corrections officers were indicted for violating the civil rights of an inmate after a brutal beating caught on video in 2017. An attorney for one of the guards says they were not properly trained to deal with non-compliant inmates.
Maybe received one training and one follow-up about how to respond and deal with, prisoners who act violently or refuse to comply.
The judge considered all the factors before deciding to give her probation instead of prison time.
She has a clean record. The PO, there's no aggravating factors for the court to consider compared to other type of similar cases.
Martinez was on taxpayer-funded administrative leave for more than a year, but it was revealed in court today that she recently was fired. I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
Guilty of involuntary manslaughter. That's what a New Mexico jury decided about the Rust film armorer Hannah Gutierrez Reed. She put a live round into the gun that actor Alec Baldwin was rehearsing with that killed cinematographer Helena Hutchins. But the jury found her not guilty of tampering with evidence. A judge ordered that Gutierrez Reed be taken into custody and held until her sentencing. The 26-year-old faces up to 18 months in prison. She's the first to face trial in the shooting. Baldwin's trial for involuntary manslaughter is scheduled for July. Joining us now here in the Hawaii News Now Digital Center is Sergeant Chris Kim of Crime Stoppers, here to tell us about some more recent crimes. And Chris, with this first one, we're going to start out in East Oahu. This is an animal cruelty case. What can you tell us there?
You're asking for the public and helping us to solve this case. What had happened was Wednesday, February 28th, at about 7:50 p.m., a white cat was found deceased in the Koko Head District Park. The cat had obvious signs of trauma, and upon further examination of the cat, it was discovered that there were multiple pellets lodged in its head. The cat unfortunately passed away. And now we're actually, there's also a photo, just kind of show the public. It's pretty sad. Mm-hmm. Definitely sad that, the cat had to endure this type of cruelty, as well as there are other cats out there that are being shot. So we're asking for the public, if you know anything about this case, please contact us. We do have a wonderful Animal Crime Stoppers program. We work in partnership with the Hawaiian Humane Society. We also have an individual donor that's offering up to $5,000 in cash for information leading to the arrest. So once again, if you're out there in the area and you saw someone maybe with a BB or pellet gun out there shooting at these cats, we also kind of want to let the people know that there are other humane ways. Work closely with the Hawaiian Humane Society. You can rent a cat trap, but there are other ways about going about this as opposed to going out there and killing these cats. Totally unnecessary, very heartbreaking to see.
Yeah, and that private donation is so big, $5,000 for information in this case.
In addition to the $1,000 that Crime Stoppers offers. So once again, want to let the public know about that.
For sure. We also have a case out of a gas station here.
Yeah, on Sunday, January 21st, 2024, at about 2:48 a.m., the victim was asleep in her vehicle at a gas station over on the Salt Lake area when this group of individuals pulled up and basically snuck up on her, went into her vehicle and stole things from within while she was asleep. So we use this as an educational video as well. Kind of let the public know that if you're going to be in your vehicle, roll the windows up and just kind of be aware of your surroundings. All three suspects are being described as unknown. Provide information later as to where the public can see other clips to this.
So the two cars were together?
Yes. So one is acting as a lookout. So what they're doing is they're driving around. They're looking for situations like this. This is basically a crime of opportunity where the victim was just asleep in her vehicle and had no idea that these people were driving around kind of casing out the area. Suspect saw an opportunity and took that opportunity and made off with her purse.
Wow.
Amazing. And we have another one here out of Kaka'ako, I believe.
Yeah, so this one on Tuesday, February 27, 2024 at about 9:20 p.m. The complainant had accidentally left her backpack in the parking structure of the Whole Foods in Kaka'ako. This individual was captured on video surveillance going to the backpack and then making off with it. It was never submitted into the police or security. Therefore, it's been classified as a theft in the second degree. The suspect in this incident is also being described as unknown. Was last seen leaving in this what appears to be a white Toyota Tacoma truck.
And we also have this case right here out of Pearl City.
Yeah, on Wednesday, February 14, 2024, at about just past midnight, two individuals drove up to this residence over on Pulinu Street in the Aiea area. And what they're doing is they're kind of casing out vehicles, construction vehicles like this, where there's these cargo or toolboxes in the back of pickup trucks, and people oftentimes forget to lock them. So you see they pull up, they see this truck, they then open that shed or that toolbox and then make off with numerous power tools valued in the thousands of dollars. So we want to use this as an educational video as well. Let's just let the public know this was parked in the complainant's carport. So don't have that false sense of security that just because it's in my carport that nothing's going to happen. Clearly see, something like this can happen really quickly.
Chris Kim of Crime Stoppers Honolulu giving us a crime roundup in our community. Mahalo nui for all of that. Once again, if you know anything on any of these cases, use the P3 Tips mobile app, or of course, pick up your phone and call 955-8300. That is the number for Crime Stoppers there, and you may be eligible for a cash reward. Let's take you live outside now for a look out at beautiful Honolulu. Much calmer weather today than last night. There was some lightning and thunder last night, but a different story today. Stay with us after this short break. We'll give you a look at your island forecast.
How's it on this Thursday? There will still be some spotty downpours today, but that disturbance slowly easing up and slowly moving out towards the east. So even though it's wet this morning with some heavy downpours, the rain will start to ease up for Kauai and Oahu later in the afternoon. There will still be some windward and Mauka showers through the weekend, but the heavy rainfall should be done by tomorrow. And those winds, well, they'll be getting stronger into the weekend. They'll be running about 15 to 25 miles an hour, and it's very gusty in and around Maui County this morning. morning. So this is what we're looking at today. Spotty downpours mainly in the morning hours. We're going to see drier conditions for Kauai and Oahu in the afternoon. But what's not going to change are these winds. They'll be running 15 to 25 with some stronger gusts here and there. And these winds will be holding firm going into the weekend. And that means elevated wave heights on the windward side, small waves everywhere else, and the north and west shores are expected an advisory level swell probably moving in by late tomorrow. So heads up on that. High surf advisories could be posted. So we're highlighting today in red. The first forecast, the first alert is for those spotty downpours that could cause minor flooding. And those winds will run pretty swift through the weekend. And we will see some windward and Mauka showers too, drier for leeward sides for the next several days. And then on Monday, things start to settle down with lighter winds on Tuesday.
There's a new mobile innovation station that's inspiring students all across Oahu to get involved with STEM. Our Casey Lund takes us inside.
Well, there's nothing all that special about the outside of this red shipping container here at Keolu Elementary School in Kailua. But come with me. What's inside has the power to inspire young people and possibly change the lives of the future leaders in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and math.
I wanted to pursue this because I wanted to have a meaningful impact in my community and see what I can do to bring STEM to the future generation and see how we as a team can work together to make a meaningful impact and just change the view of STEM in the community and make it more accessible for everybody.
Robotics students at Kalani High School mentor younger public school students using this, the Innovation Station. It's a mobile classroom of sorts that can be stationed at other DOE campuses to share the wealth of technology within.
We got 3D printers, and these is a bank of 3D printers, and what's really cool about it is that we have 12 of them, so when a class comes up with an idea, they want to showcase what they've been reading about, looking at their science, their history, English. They can actually create those ideas. And with having so many, a lot of kids can get it printed all at once. We have an example of right here of a cockroach the kids printed out because they were doing, exactly. So this was part of ecology, and they wanted to show the different organisms in the field. These are the decomposers.
That's Brian Silver, Kalani's robotics teacher. Along with these, there are laser printers, power tools, and STEM curriculum ready to go for curious minds. But more valuable than the fancy tech here is a more important lesson.
When I learned about this and when I'm older and I was able to teach the children, I was able to think, wow, these children are able to have a head start in careers and to know what they want to do in life.
The DOE is hoping this could be a model for other schools across the state. If you'd like to learn more about the Innovation Station, we have information on our website at hawaiinewsnow.com. For now, we'll send things back into the studio.
Climate scientists say Earth has obliterated global heat records for the 9th straight month after February had the hottest temperature ever recorded. Tina Kraus has more.
Spring hasn't sprung, but temperatures worldwide have bounced to their highest levels ever.
February 2024 was the warmest February in record globally.
And climate scientists say that marks a heat streak for 9 consecutive months.
We have seen over the last few decades a piling up of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, which bring up the temperature of the entire planet.
New data from the European Union's Climate Change Monitoring Service shows temperatures last month were exceptionally high in both the air and sea. The world's oceans, which absorb 90% of the Earth's heat, saw the warmest temps ever, while sea ice keeps shrinking to record lows.
Every fraction of a degree means a tangible impact on ecosystems. It means a tangible impact on people's lives, on their livelihoods, and we are going to see more extreme events.
The U.S. has already seen its share of wild weather this year with a monster blizzard engulfing California and the largest wildfire in state history raging through Texas. Global temperatures are getting an extra boost from El Nino, but experts say heat-trapping greenhouse gases are the main culprit.
We have to reduce the rate of temperature rise to protect ourselves from these kinds of damaging impacts.
Scientists say with climate change steering the world into uncharted territory, cutting harmful emissions is the only safe path for the planet. Tina Kraus, CBS News, London.
TikTok's time in the U.S. may be ticking away. Thursday, House Committee is planning to vote on a bill that could ban the China-linked social media platform from all U.S. devices like phones and tablets. The bill was introduced by Republican Representative Mike Gallagher and has bipartisan support. If the bill is enacted, TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, would have 165 days to sell the app. If ByteDance does not do that, the bill would make it illegal for TikTok to be available for download in app stores. U.S. officials have repeatedly said Chinese intelligence laws make it impossible for Beijing to collect user information. TikTok is already prohibited on government-owned devices. The American Civil Liberties Union says the bill would hinder free speech for Americans. TikTok is urging its users to oppose the legislation, releasing some full-screen pop-ups Thursday that say the bill, quote, will damage millions of businesses and deny artists an audience. Time for some good news now.
Yeah, so South Korea is saying goodbye to the first ever panda cub born in the country. So Fu Bao is his name, is returning to China. Beijing sends pandas abroad as ambassadors to show goodwill. So Fu Bao's parents, Ai Bao and Lei Bao, were loaned to South Korea in 2016. They had Fu Bao in 2020 and a set of twins last year.
So cute. My grandma loves pandas. She has a collection of all things pandas. And how can you not love that face?
Oh, they're so
cute. Adorable.
Fu Bao.
Fu Bao. Let's send things live outside one more time through the eyes of one of our tower cameras. This is Honolulu. Don't forget, the President's State of the Union address will be airing on Hawaii News Now on air and on digital platforms at 4 o'clock.